The Highlanders have bounced back from their 1-point loss to the Waratahs in Sydney last weekend by beating the Blues 29-21 in a thrilling contest in Dunedin last Saturday evening. This comes from a standout performance from young fullback Finn Hurley, and the Highlanders moving now to 1-1. Meanwhile, the Blues make it 2 losses from 2 to start their Super Rugby campaign, and of course this was despite the Highlanders having a red card for the last 14 minutes of regular time. I'm Nick from Nickn'detail, and today I'm going to be reviewing the Highlanders Blues game, which took place in Dunedin last Saturday evening. So, let's get into it. That is right, this young Highlanders team, very much one of the youngest teams in the competition, have upset the Blues to mean that the Blues are now 2 from 2 so far in Super Rugby in regards to losing. The Highlanders with a 29-21 win in Dunedin thanks to 2 tries from young fullback Finn Hurley, projecting the Highlanders to 1-1 on the table now. This of course comes after their narrow loss to the Waratahs in Sydney last weekend, where they only went down by 1 point in the final play of game. But a great bounce back from the Highlanders there to get that win and move themselves up the Super Rugby table. So, what are my thoughts on this game? Honestly, this was such a tightly contested game. After that matchup in Sydney against the Waratahs, it looked like this Highlanders team are showing where they were many years ago. And you could say they were very much the underdogs against the Blues at home. Yes, at home as well. I mean, it's not like you were away where you would massively be the underdogs, but even at home, they were the underdogs. The Blues were very much expected to bounce back from their loss to the Chiefs in Auckland a couple of weeks ago to open the Super Rugby season. They were expected to basically be walked over, but the Highlanders, fair play to them, gave it a good fight. Maybe if you look at the start of the game, the Blues were very much in control, and it looked like, oh, we might see a pretty one-sided game here, but towards the end of the first half, you've got to give the Highlanders credit. They stayed in the game. They only went down 1 point at half-time, and they looked very good. The Blues just looked like they were no match for this young Highlanders side, and even in the second half, early second half, yes, we saw the Blues start as they did that first half. That's very strong, but the Highlanders just, as soon as they conceded points, were able to get back into it. And what cost the Blues at the end was very much those 3-pointers, those penalty kicks. And unfortunately, when you give away penalties right in front of your post, the chances are you're going to kick it for 3. And ultimately, those 3 points, even though it doesn't really seem much, they honestly can come back to bite you in the arse later on in the game. And that's what happened for the Blues, unfortunately, with that. And of course, even though this is the Highlanders who had a red card in the last 14 minutes, what was a yellow card, but was fairly upgraded to a red card and was very much a red card tackle if you watch the replay of what actually happened. But the Highlanders, despite that, didn't give up. And I think even at one point they were down to 13 players and were still able to pressure the Blues, who had all 15 players on the field. And that's a massive credit to them. But their crowd was awesome in Dunedin as well. So great atmosphere down there as always. And the Highlanders with a very great performance, especially from young Finn Hurley, 21 years old at fullback, 2 tries there. He looked like a seasoned player. At 21, he's only played a couple games of Super Rugby, very much his first season in this Super Rugby environment, and he's just looking like he's played 5 years already. So big credit to him against the Highlanders with a great performance there, despite, of course, a very tight contest with the Blues, but very much the deserving winners. And for them, it shows that potentially with Jamie Joseph back at the helm, the Highlanders are starting to work their way up to where they have been many years ago. So, who was my standout player? Well, I've already mentioned him a few times, but Finn Hurley is my standout player. As I said, 21 years of age, Otago born and bred. I think just this guy is very much the future of Otago. He had a very good game. 2 tries, of course, from him, and just looked like a veteran. Just the way he controlled the game, just his weight and his kicks, but just the confidence this young man had to play out from the back. Just massive credit to him there. And as I said, Otago born, you've got plenty of promise from him in the future. I believe give him another season or 2 in Super Rugby, and I very much think he'll be knocking on the door of the All Blacks, and I think potentially a future starting 15 for the All Blacks as well. I think this man was a standout against the Blues. So, as I said, just looked so confident whenever he had the ball in hand, and was a big part in that Highlanders win down in Dunedin. So he is my star player. A great performance from the young 21-year-old there. But yeah, that's going to be it for me. What was a great game, a very tight game. Another great round of Super Rugby, I think, with these rule changes, but also just how good these teams are this season. We're seeing Super Rugby back to where it was many years ago. I think we can all agree over the last few years. The standards have been a bit dismal, but it's great to see Super Rugby kind of getting back to that excitement levels and that passion that we all love to see for rugby in this side of the world. And for Highlanders, as much as, of course, the last few years haven't really been, going their way, it's great to see them coming back to where they were, say, 2015, 2010 records where they won the Super Rugby. It's just great to see the Highlanders getting back to that form they were, and with such a young team as well. I think they've got a great future ahead of them, I believe, next season very much. And of course, even this season, I believe they're going to be causing teams headaches, but I believe next season they could even go on and be title contenders. And as much as I don't really want to be throwing out early predictions for next season, being that we only just started this season, but I believe the Highlanders, with the way they're playing at the moment, the potential they're showing, they are going to be a pain for teams this season. That's going to be it for me. Until next time, I'll see you later.